Okay, tonight we are going to be working with drilling Mescal beans. We've got some yellow ones here that we're going to put together, and I'm just going to show you the process that I've come up to make these. Thanks for checking out this little show. Things that you might use them for: Native American church people use these. Gourd dancers use these. People might use them for decorations on things. There's a lot of different uses. So bandoliers and whatnot. Anyhow, as we're putting them together so that we can use them for our dance clothes, we're going to go over some of the materials you might need. First of all, we've got a hand drill over here, and we've got a bit that's just big enough to drill the hole that we need. We've got our fresh beans themselves, the new ones that haven't been done, nothing's been done with them. This is a bunch that I've already started. This is the first step, so I'm just kind of stepping them through as I go. And then we've got the finished product. You might want a container for each because these will roll everywhere if you're not careful. And then I'm just discarding any ones that we break. That's the biggest issue, is breaking the shell, squishing the bean, doing something that's going to mess it up. So just keep that in mind as we go forward. We've got paper towels to clean them off with. They'll get real oily and everything as we heat them up. And we've got some pliers to hold them so that they're not going everywhere. And the tongs over here I use just to groom up my fire and keep things stacked together. Now these are the first step. This is a piece of coat hanger that's just been straightened out and then turned over at the end, so we've got something to hold on to. But this right here is what's going to help us drill this hole as we use the method to heat it up and everything else that we'll show you here in a second. We're going to take you over here to the fire to kind of show you how we've got things started. We just built a small coal fire so that we've got, a little charcoal going, just enough to heat up the pieces that we've got down here. I've got some arrow holes that I was able to set ththese into, so they're in there getting heated up as it is right now. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a fresh one, and we're going to actually set this into our pliers. Now keep in mind, you don't want to break the shell by holding the pliers too tight. And you just want it there to keep it from moving around on you, so make sure your grip is real even. You're going to want to put it in long. I usually try to set it so that that hole right there is facing out. Sometimes people drill through the short part of the bean, but I find that you want to drill through the long piece, and that of course fits in the pliers a little bit better as well. On all beans you're going to find a larger side and a smaller side. It's easier to start at the larger side right here on the seam where the beans come together. So I'm going to put that in there, make sure it's just solid enough that it's going to hold for me, and then I'm going to take one of my coat hangers here that's been heated up, and I'm just going to set it right there on that seam as best I can and try to get a little bit of that burn going. I just want to put a little pilot hole to get through that shell. Now I don't know if this is just these beans, the yellow ones, or if this is normal for all the others, but these yellow beans have given me a hard time, which is why I've gone over to using the drill. The way I learned this, just the coat hanger was enough to go straight through and burn everything out of the middle, but these have been difficult for me, so what I've done is I've taken that step to get that hole started so I have something to set this on. Now I'm going to drill out the core, and I'm only going to go through the meat of the bean. I'm not going to come through the back shell because that might break out the back shell and we have to start all over again. Okay, so there's no hole on the back side. We've just gone through the middle and the core here, and then once again I'm going to take a different one that's been sitting here in the fire still, so it's nice and hot, and I'm going to push it right through there all the way back so that it comes all the way through. Now I'm going to run it back and forth so I can get everything in there nice and burned, and what I'm going to have now is a nice clean hole that's going to be easy to use to thread. And you might have noticed as you go and do yours that there's going to be a lot of oils that burn off and kind of pop out of this thing, so you just want to wipe it down when it's finished. It's going to be hot, so be careful, and you don't really, in my opinion, you don't really want to do this inside. These are noxious, and so inhaling all that smoke can give you a headache. It's going to help you if you do it outside. Now, I will say I learned this inside on the kitchen gas stove. That worked out just fine with those red beans. Like I said, I don't know if the yellow beans are different in the sense that it's a little bit tougher, but that's kind of why I've developed this. this method. It's just what I have and how I can go about doing it, and it works well for me. I'm sure there's faster ways, better ways, whatever, but this is what I've learned, and the only other way I've done it is by using a drill press, which is a lot faster, but I end up with a lot of beans that the shells get broken on, and I don't have a drill press. So this is just kind of how I've developed my process. Thanks again for checking out our little show here, and hope everybody's well. Good night.